Live your life, boy.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Conspiracy Farm, where we don't start the conspiracies, we just add the water. And now, your host of the most state-of-the-art, most informed podcast on the interweb, I present to you Pat Miletich and Jeffrey Wilson. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for war?
Yeah, rear naked choke of Cocker Spaniel, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Bro.
Change the neighborhood up.
Conspiracy Farm. Go. Check it out.
All right, we are live, ladies and gentlemen, on multiple platforms. We have the Conspiracy Farm, another episode, as we are bringing it to you as we are working from home and self-quarantining in this madness we've been told is a global pandemic.
Don't say quarantine. That's not
what I'm doing.
Politically correct anymore. It's shelter in place. Jeffrey.
Okay, my bad.
Shelter in place.
Long story short, not working.
Good Lord.
And doing the damn thing here with our friend, our sponsor, title sponsor, pretty much of the show, Chemical Free Body CEO Tim James. He is live on his Facebook. Pat is live on his Facebook. And, of course,
Did you say, when I said shelter in place, you said translation not working?
I'm trying to introduce the show. Do you mind? Jamie at Christmas.
Turn it up, tough guy.
We are doing what we do. Speaking with Tim today, obviously title sponsor, chemicalfreebody.com. Go to the website, our website, to get the specials. Chemicalfreebody.com /farmer, promo code farmer for your discounts. We're going to talk all about it, man. We're going to dab a little bit about what the hell we think is going on, but overall the function of this program is going to be more about staying healthy and how
Getting healthy and staying healthy.
Absolutely, right? Because, health is wealth. And a strong immune system, a strong body, like Pat says, hard to kill, is the way you want to be. Tim, how you doing, brother?
Dude, I'm feeling fantastic. I'm feeling healthy. I'm feeling strong. And a lot of people are really concerned about this, and a lot of people aren't worried about it at all. And there's a few up the middle, and I think we want to speak to all of them today and kind of give them our 2 bits, and hopefully that'll help them to feel a bit better and get through this.
Yeah. Heck, Champ, how you feeling, buddy? You're out there in the sticks a little bit, but still experiencing this. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm a little stir crazy. I went to the store to look for toilet paper and paper towels again today, and they were all gone everywhere. For all you out there who are hoarding toilet paper and paper towels, it's ridiculous. I think it's insane. I'll trade you a can of soup when you're starving for a bunch of that toilet paper, you assholes.
Oh, so you don't know nothing about those toilet paper sandwiches, dude. Stuff is grub. Hey, have you, seriously, though, a little comedy before we get into it, have you seen those, weird fetishes people have, on Maury back in the day? There's actually people who, eat glass and eat toilet paper, and it happens. I digress, though.
That was during the Depression?
No, that was, a couple years ago. Just some weirdos who were into eating weird shit.
I know a guy who used to do that as bar tricks. He'd eat pint glasses, and he would eat beer bottles, chew them up, and eat them. And I asked him, I said, did you ever have any health issues after you did that? He said, oh, yeah, I had severe digestive issues after that.
Wow. I think it was That's Incredible. If I'm really dating myself with that show, but the guy.
Oh my God, dude, that's old.
Piece by piece. But we talked to John Barber. He was the producer of Real People. I'm sorry. But anyway, on more, That's Incredible, the guy ate a bike. It was bit by bit, but he ate a fucking bike.
I think I remember that.
It's crazy.
I remember that. He ate an entire bicycle.
They showed how just little chunks he did it, but yeah, he was sitting there grubbing on a bike, dude.
That's totally how you can get rid of corona. Just eat a bike.
The
Schwinn stock will go through the roof.
Yeah.
But I was just watching a video earlier on the coronavirus, and it was an actual doctor, scientist, explaining how the coronavirus is actually very fragile. These types of upper respiratory infections are very fragile, and that, in fact, at 133 degrees, I believe it is, Fahrenheit, that it is killed basically in minutes. So go to your local sauna if your Y was actually open for you, or your gym, which it isn't in most places.
Right.
So that makes it a little tough, and certainly I don't want to dump 130-degree water into my nostrils. But steam rooms and saunas would be real handy about now if people were to get sick, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I saw a lady online. She was telling people what they can do is get a hair dryer, put your hand behind the hair dryer to block the airflow coming in so much, so it would actually heat the air up more, and then you just breathe in, and then push the dryer off to aim it off to the side so it's not cooking your face, and then breathe out, and then bring it back over, and breathe in, and do that for like 5 minutes, and then wait 20 minutes, and then do it again for 5 minutes, and 2 rounds of that would probably do the same job. It would heat it up and kill it.
Well, that's
again,
interesting.
not a medical person, but that's just what kind of made sense.
Yeah. Now, are you guys familiar with the medication, the anti-malarial medication that Trump and the other health experts were talking about today?
Yeah.
It sounded an awful lot like the treatment that you have been talking about, Jeff. Remember, we talked about the doctor who discovered what was it? Chlorine dioxide. What was the exact name of the stuff that you talked about that he cured his friends with malaria in the Amazon jungle with? They were basically water purification pills.
I forget
that he gave to these guys.
Yeah, that was Jim Humble.
Yeah, Jim Humble.
He was looking for gold, and he gave him sodium chloride, which was those pills because they were going to die. They had malaria, right?
Right.
And he's like, well, it purifies water. We can't pack them.
Uh-oh. Hold on. Holy shite. What's the number on this? 10. Shit, my Skype just died. My Skype just crashed.
What you're talking about, where they can make a ton of money off of it, right?
Yeah.
So
well, as long, if they have something that works, I always like looking to nature first before I go to synthetics. That's kind of been my success in my life.
Sorry, guys, I lost you for a second there.
What else has chlorine dioxide been used to heal, to cure, that you've known of?
All kinds of stuff. I gave it to my sister-in-law when she had pneumonia. So what's going on right now?
Right.
It stops viruses from replicating, and it oxidizes bacteria, mold, yeast, fungus, kills parasites.
Any usefulness for colloidal silver?
Same thing. Colloidal silver stops viruses from replicating and won't allow them to uncoil and do their thing. That was the original antibiotic before penicillin. So colloidal silver is like sold off the shelves now.
Right?
What's that?
I mean, colloidal silver has been around for since like Roman times or something.
Oh yeah, you can make it yourself. People are putting silver coins in water and just drinking that and doing stuff like that and putting them in jugs.
Like you said, there's so many answers to be found in nature, but obviously that's not where we're at. With the pharmaceutical company just chomping at the bit to create this vaccine that they're hopefully not going to force everybody to take, because that creates bad business for everyone.
Ooh, that's scary. That's a slippery slope right there.
Well, that's why, we've said many times as we're doing this.
Vaccinations.
Well, we talked about the measles outbreak last year in New York, and we said on this show we felt that this could even be a beta test for something bigger, because they keep moving the ball down the or kicking the ball down the road. But that measles outbreak in New York seemed like a beta test. And then what did they do? I said we're one outbreak away from forced vaccination, and literally the next day in New York they shut it down and start forcing people to be vaccinated from the measles. So. Again, ladies and gentlemen, this is more about getting healthy, but with this kind of trauma-based conditioning, they freak you the fuck out first, and then, tell you the sky is falling, and then you're begging for the solution for the problem they created. And this is, this isn't even sort of over. There's so much to be to this from a social standpoint, from a financial standpoint. That's why you guys, everyone listening, has to do their absolute best to maintain their health, man. You got to quit smoking, got to throw out the garbage, the sugar, the donuts, whatever it is, man. You can't be putting sugar water into the Formula One race car right now, man. This stuff, the virus isn't a joke.
What would you suggest in terms of just basic health? Not only your products, which we'll talk about, which are amazing products, but what else should people be doing for their health?
Well, what we're teaching everybody right now in our private coaching group is just, doing everything you can to build your immune system, right? Everything you can. And this is a long conversation because, it starts off with, drinking purified water, which is what our body's mostly made of, and getting lots of purified water in the system.
And really you drink double purified water, correct?
Yeah, triple purified.
Triple purified water. Which filtration system do you use at your house?
I have what's the name of that thing? It's the 2 Pure H2O Vitatech system, and it's a 16-stage triple purifier, filters, all this stuff. But the key is purification's number one, and then after it goes through all that, it remineralizes it with the energy of minerals, not the actual rock minerals itself, but the energetics. There are mineral balls in there that are concentrated, and also infrared balls. And they let the water, as it finishes, it goes through these balls as an S pattern like it would in nature. The guy's been working on it for like 30 years. He just perfects this system all the time. That's the system I use to purify my water. And then I run it through Kangen K8 system to restructure it and make it small so I get maximum absorption of the water. Like it's like once you've had this water, it's not even close. Like I've been teaching and preaching drinking half of your body weight in liquid ounces daily for years. And, I'm the same way. I pee a lot. I'm just drinking and it's always going out. And I live in the city, so I'm still purifying city water. And the problem is when you live in the city, those high pressured piping systems are coagulating the water molecules and you can't absorb them. They're like bowling balls trying to go through a chain link fence. So by running it through this Kangen system, it restructures them, makes them into sand again, so it separates them, goes right through the intestinal lining, and you can drink a lot of this water and it just disappears. And then like 2-3 hours later, whoosh, then it comes out. So it's went through the system. And then that system also alkalizes it. And then very important, it charges it with molecular hydrogen, which increases cell frequency. And that's like one of my goals over here as a coach is to help people get their cells, at 75 hertz. That's what we want, is highest possible frequency as possible, so that when free radical comes at a lower frequency, it's like Scotty's got the shields up and it blocks you from getting sick. That's kind of how it works.
Trekkie reference.
Okay.
It's so ironic to see, as we've talked about many times on the show, people making the right choices to eat better foods, drink better water. But even if you're drinking or eating the right greens and stuff, the quality of the greens, they could be GMO, they could be sprayed all over. So as we know how crucial water consumption is to our health, it's ironic to see these people stocking up on bottled water, which we know is just like baseline, just not good water. So again, like you said,
plastic bottles. I mean, if you're drinking plastic out of bottles, you're drinking plastic. And there's enough information out there for people to know that, like, just from T-shirts, like you guys, your Conspiracy Farm T-shirt here. Hey, it looks pretty good, right?
Looks fantastic.
Pretty awesome. So this is made out of 100% cotton. All right. Now, if this shirt was made out of polyester, then not only was it's polyester, where does that come from? Well, it comes from crude oil, and on average it takes 3,000 chemicals to process that to get it into a polyester thread. Okay, then you got this polyester deal going on. Well, guess what? Anything made from crude oil that you're wearing is going to be off-gassing into your system. It goes right through your skin. You can't see it. I couldn't see it. You can't see it. It's microscopic. It's off-gassing. Even after 1,000 washes, it's still off-gassing 97% of brand new. So it's putting off this toxic gas. How many people have breast cancer today or prostate cancer from estrogen mimickers from plastics? Well, what do you think polyester is? It's a freaking plastic. Okay?
Dude, I had no idea. Not that I rock a lot of polyester, but I had no idea.
And listen to this. Then you wash it, and the microscopic plastic fibers go down the drain into the creeks and the tributaries and the rivers. They end up in the ocean. The microplastics in the ocean are so big right now that they are actually killing the life forms on the smallest levels. We're literally killing our ocean. If you look at the Gulf of Mexico, there's a dead zone from all the pesticides, the fungicides, the herbicides, the larvicides going there. There's a woman who's like 80 years old. If you've seen her, I can't remember her name, but she's been like loving the ocean and in the ocean her whole life, and she's on tour. She like speaks almost 300 days a year, pleading with people to stop the toxic chemicals and all the fertilizers, because it's killing everything. And these microplastics are terrible because they're killing the basis of the food chain. Like This is the thing that's really upsetting, is because, you guys are on the conspiracy farm, so you guys are talking about a lot of political stuff, right? And you have these people on the left that have proposed this Green New Deal thing. And a lot of it's just a cloak for a bunch of crap, but there's some stuff in there that's true. I don't believe that we have global warming. I don't believe in that, because the Earth goes through natural cycles of heating and cooling. And yeah, we're exasperating a little bit, but not enough to make difference. And there's been a whole lot of people messing with the temperature gauges around, and the scientists screwing with stuff. But we do have a global pollution problem. There is no question about that.
Yeah, that cuts across political lines. We all know that we don't want pollution.
It's going to kill people. And yeah, cows are farting, and it does create a ton of methane, and it's a problem, So I mean, when you're harvesting, like knocking down the Amazon to plant soy and make room for grazing cattle, and then you harvest them in these butcher planes, and you fly the meat to Ireland, that's ridiculous. That makes no sense. People in Ireland should be eating food from Ireland, and people in the Amazon, leave the frickin' Amazon jungles alone.
Well, and speaking of Ireland and St. Patty's Day, I mean, there's enough methane produced by people drinking Guinness and eating corned beef and cabbage the next day to kill 7 Earths,
Right, totally. But so there's some things in the Green New Deal that are actually truthful. There's some truthful things, but then it's got a bunch of crap around it, so you can't accept it, right? It's just like, I don't believe in supplements if they're really good, but then there's some garbage in them, some silicon dioxide as an example. I'm not eating it, right? So anyway, we're getting off here, but I wanted to get back to what you said earlier. Is like, what can people do to protect themselves with the coronavirus? And I'm going to tell you what you should do to protect yourself from a cold virus, and what you should do to protect yourself from the Ebola and the SARS and the bird flu and the swine flu and all these things that keep coming out every 2 years. You think the coronavirus is going to be the last one? No. This is going to be a continued thing moving forward, just like it's been in the past. So what can you do? Number one is to not get stressed out, because stress is the most it kills your immune system. So if you're in panic mode, and I've had a lot of clients I've been talking to lately, and they're all freaked out, I spend my time just to calm them down. I do breath work on the phone with people, just placing orders, right, to get them to calm the F down. They're freaking themselves out. They're freaking everybody else out, and to get their head screwed on straight. Okay?
Cortisol, isn't that killer from stress? The chemicals that's released?
Absolutely. They're releasing way too much cortisol and endorphins, and it's just, that stuff is toxic if it's not used, right? You need to fight or flight. So anyway, so there are a lot of things. You mentioned one, colloidal silver, right? Having colloidal silver in your house is very important, especially the nasal spray. If you're going to be traveling on an airplane, the nasal spray, we use Sovereign Silver and Argentin 23. Those are the two brands that I recommend, Sovereign Silver and Argentin 23. Get the nasal spray. And then if you're on the plane, every hour or half hour, 2 squirts up each nostril, and you're going to go right into the bronchial tubes, right into the sinus cavities where all those viruses start working. That's where they start, in the throat usually. And you can knock them out, right, if you get ahead of it. The MMS formula, or chlorine dioxide, you can get that from the Genesis 2 Church. That's where you get it from those guys. And again, there's a lot of controversy around that, but that stuff kills viruses. It kills herpesviruses. It kills bacteria, mold.
Yeah. Every time I mention chlorine dioxide, there's always somebody out there who says, "You're full of shit. That's bleach. This, that."
If they say it's bleach, then they don't know their ass from a hole in the ground. It ain't bleach. Look at the chemical compounds. It's completely different.
Right. But, so explain it in detail for our listeners so they know the difference between chlorine dioxide and thinking that it's toxic and it's going to kill people and everything.
Well, it's really simple. I mean, like I don't want to be like super engineer guy all the time. I go down a rabbit hole as far as I need to, but I actually remember looking at the chemical structure. It's different. Again, 60% of our municipalities, Pat, use chlorine dioxide to purify our water. Okay.
Right.
So majority of us are already drinking it. So what I tell people is like, don't believe what you say or Pat says or what I say. Go do your own research, and don't look at just one side of things. If you're looking at CBS News, you're not going to get the full picture. Go to the people that are actually selling it and have been helping people for decades with it to have experience. I know that I've used it myself. I've helped the CEO of a big cheese company around here get over her terrible cold that she had. My sister with pneumonia. I have multiple people on it right now being consistent with it for genital herpes. Anytime anybody's had colds or flus or anything like that, or any of my clients that have done our protocols. They've cleaned their gut, they've cleaned their blood, they've taken the greens, and they started implementing all of our lifestyle hacks that we share, and they're still struggling. They still have something. Well, then we take a look at the harmful organisms, and with chlorine dioxide, they can start microdosing with it and knock it all out. Viruses, bacteria, mold, yeast, and how many people have candida? Okay? If you're struggling with candida, this stuff will knock it out, and you can still eat sugar while you're doing it. It's amazing, because usually in my other candida protocols, it was like no sugar. Who can do that? Very few people, because they're food addicts. And bread is sugar, pasta is sugar, rice is sugar, oatmeal is sugar. It all converts to sugar in your mouth. These are terrible carbs. So anyway, it's just really important to know about these things and do your own research. And there's plenty of people out there, and there's plenty of research. And then first person experience. You have to try it yourself and use it, and then you'll know. And it doesn't matter. That's the only way to do it. I'm like, well, eventually I'm gonna have to buy it and try it and see if it works for me. Otherwise, what do I know, right? So
I'd like to keep it around. I'd like to keep chlorine dioxide around the house just in case I do get sick.
You should. So we've got colloidal silver. It's a great antiviral. You've got the MMS or chlorine dioxide. I also recommend essential oils. You can vaporize them. You can swallow some of them. You put them on your skin. You have things like Thieves Blend from the Young Living Company, and then the people that broke off from Young Living, doTERRA people, they have a blend called On Guard. This is a blend that the pharaohs used back in the day. They got from traders. These traders were coming in, and when there was plagues, they were going around stealing off everybody. These people are like laying there, like dying, choking, and they're busting into their house and taking all their gold and their plates and their silvers and stuff, and they weren't getting sick. And the pharaoh said, "Hey, get those guys and bring them to me." What were they doing? They were drinking and rubbing essential oils all over the bodies. Certain essential oils, like like lemon or orange or rosemary or what was the one? Frankincense, right? Basil. These types of very strong types of oils, and guess what? They didn't contract the plague because they're antimicrobial, right? So essential oils are great to have in your house. Another thing that's really good is hydrogen peroxide. Another thing that's really good that's antiviral is 2.5% pH water. It's very acidic. Most Japanese hospitals are using it. That Kangen unit we were talking about, you push a button and it makes 11.5 alkalized water to pull toxins out of your vegetables, and then the other spout, 2.5 water comes out. You can clean your toilet with it, or you can put it as a bleach alternative in with your clothes. Very acid, and it's just going to have, that's 100% kill rate for viruses, right? So if hospitals are using it to sterilize and it kills MERS and Ebola and all these other viruses, why wouldn't it work for corona, right? It's a 100% kill deal. Also, garlic is very caustic. It's a 3.3 on the acid scale, and that's a good bacteria killer, but not maybe so much for the antiviral. I'm not sure on that one with the garlic, but those are a lot of things, Pat. Drinking lots of water. I think sleep is one of the most important things that people have control of. Getting the earlier you get to bed and the earlier you wake up, the healthier you're going to be. Try to get at least 7-8 hours of sleep in. If you don't get sleep, you're going to run your immune system down. Sleep's important. Cracking your window at night, making sure you're getting fresh air. These are all things that you can just start stacking these things. Having a couple green juices a day. I've done this for almost 10 years. I 2 juices a day. I'm never going to stop. There's no way.
How much juice do you drink a day?
2 green juices.
2 green juices. This is it that you can.
Yeah, and it's interesting, man, because honestly,
our website. Click on the chemical-free body.
theconspiracyfarm.com. Click on the link, or
conspiracyfarm.com,
or chemicalfreebody.com/farmer. Promo code farmer.
I use the greens. I use your probiotics.
Gut cleanse, dude. I pop my gut cleanse right in the morning on an empty stomach,
plus,
and then my glass of greens. I'm glad you. I mean, obviously, it's almost a no-brainer. But dude, I've slept just these last week, just because it's all starting to really hit the implications of all of this. I've slept like just shit. I've been super, super stressed out. Like I said, both my jobs shut down. It's just a messed up time. So again, we have to just start making these very, very conscious choices. Obviously, this too shall pass. But in between time, in the meantime, especially having kids,
you accidentally said end times.
Yeah. Even that, dude. In the end times, you got to maintain, dude. I mean, it's not going to end immediately, and I don't think it's going to end, but things are going to get much worse than they are better. And so, again,
we've got to stay healthy for our kids, man.
Yeah.
You got to stay healthy. You got to be able to, got to help yourself before you can help others, right? So
without a doubt,
that's something very important.
It's interesting when I'm at the grocery store and I'm seeing the choice. I mean, people are making horrible food, and I'm not judging, but I'm kind of judging. People are making horrible food choices on a good day. But you see I walked in the store just to grab it, whatever I grabbed, a few things the other day, and it was just like, it was a
Twinkies.
Yeah, it was a larger black woman.
I had to have a couple donuts today. I had to. I was shopping, getting everything in my cart was healthy, and I went by the Jeff Pickett.
Yes, shout out,
good friend Jeff. He's up at the Hy-Vee store, and I had to go by and see him, and I was hanging out talking to him, and I started looking at the donuts, and I'm like, man, I don't even eat donuts. I don't even eat donuts. And I went, give me a couple of those. I got to eat those.
Oh, I forgot to tell you guys, this is probably the most important thing for this is the best thing for defeating corona in your life, and it works for everybody at any age. Harvard University just came out with a study, and they showed there's a phytochemical in maple bars, actually. That
maple
will kill
bars?
Coronavirus. I'm just kidding. It's a joke. No, but I used to eat the shit out of those maple bars when I was a kid.
Hey, listen, if you're gonna tell jokes like that, save them for the nutritionist conventions when they'll actually fucking understand them.
Because you're on the conspiracy farm where jokes are like, no, I heard a Harvard professor say that there is serious antiviral material in semen. Ladies? Ladies? No, but seriously, I kind of wanted to just obviously keep it about health, but just to pick your guys' brain, because it is such a huge thing. This is game-changing. No one's ever seen anything like this. This is completely unprecedented. What do you guys think about all of this? Is the virus clearly is real, but is the response?
I think hospitals are being.
Is the response? Can I finish my question?
Yeah, sorry.
Is the
sorry.
response?
Go ahead.
Is the response matching the threat? Pat?
Well, considering now when we look at hospitals are being overwhelmed in major cities, New York, LA, San Francisco, some other locations, I think it's the spread, the cone of the spread of it, because of that 14-day incubation period, man. People don't even know they have it. You go visit somebody for a week and leave and not be sick and have given it to them, and you won't get sick for at least another week before you get sick, and then they're hanging out with other people. And so I see the urgency to this, especially for the elderly and the people with pre-existing conditions. So that's a severe situation. So they're talking about bringing in massive hospital ships on the West Coast and East Coast. They're talking about turning massive hotels into hospitals. The medical professionals are being overwhelmed right now in a lot of those places. So I get it. I do get it. It is a very serious situation. But, also there is something to be said for people getting it and getting better and building an immunity to it. There's something to be said for that. As I said before, I'm almost 100% sure the severity of what I had in January, with the same, like I said, my lungs sounded like 2 bowls of soup, and I had violent shakes and convulsions from it for a couple of days down in my basement. And
I'm hearing that a lot. You just revealed that on the show the other day, last night, I think it was.
Told us last night, right?
They were like, I've been sick, like unprecedented sick. My sister, I was sick. And so I think, like people are saying, even in the news, this might have been around for longer than people think, and it kind of coincided with flu season. So people just kind of assumed they had the flu. Could be wrong.
Well, and China suppressed this for up to 2 months, they said, right? So there were people from here and from China that had traveled there and back, or traveled from China, businessmen who had come over here and certainly had spread it, and China wasn't saying anything about it.
I heard something very interesting last night. I forget where it was, maybe somebody's podcast, but one of the reasons for the massive explosion in Italy is that there's a main Chinese port, in Genoa, Italy, that Chinese, ships and personnel come through a lot. So that could have helped facilitate some of this. Who knows? I mean, obviously we're gonna.
Well, there's a Chinese factory there, right?
Is there? Okay.
There's a Chinese-owned factory there, and a lot of Chinese were coming in and out of that part of Italy and giving it to a lot of the Italians. And the Italians, this has got. I mean, with common sense, which I hope we have a little bit of common sense between the three of us. You guys can chime in, please. But in the news it says that Italy has surpassed the deaths that China had, which we know communist-run media might even be a little worse than CNN. I don't know. It's pretty close. But I can tell you that, I'm guessing that China has been lying about the number of deaths that it had because
well, they blocked reporters from being in there.
They kicked Americans out. Americans out just recently, though.
And that was another thing, red flag for me, and I don't even know, I'm not a whatever, but a lot of these early messages from doctors and people in China were sending these videos out on the internet, and they have a much different, it's an intranet that they have. It's a very, very highly restricted internet. So I was just kind of curious how this stuff wound up getting out. But Tim, I do want to get your answer to your question, if you feel that the reaction is matching the threat.
The reality is that I don't know, because the people that I follow that I've listened to for a long time now, that for decades have been 90% right. Like you guys, like you bring up some of you guys are the conspiracy farm, so it's this conspiracy and everybody throws rocks at you and it can't be true, and then 6 months or 2 years later, like it's self-evident, it's fact, and you guys were right on the money, and then it's like, oh, whatever.
Right.
It's that type of stuff. So I've got a lot of people like that I follow, and the thing of it is now is that there's a couple guys that I follow that have been around. They've been over 90% accuracy for years, and they're saying this whole thing is a complete fake. It's a farce, and they break stuff down. They're like, well, because you think about it, like, how do you diagnose it? Well, you do a test, okay? Well, what if the test is creating 60% false positives, or if the test, the way it's looked at is it shows that you have the coronavirus, but it's not showing the replication speed and the amount, which the test is not able to do, but the doctors are lying and saying it is doing, right? So these are false positives. So it's like, ching, 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 we got a bunch of people infected with the coronavirus.
That's racist, dude. That is very racist.
And at some level, they're not even doing diagnostics. They're like, oh, I'm coughing. I've got a fever. Oh, you've got corona. Instead of here, you go to ICU, right? So there could be a whole bunch of people in the ICU that have flus or colds, and now they're corona. Yeah. Now they have to be quarantined. And so then the news comes in is like they see the ICUs filling over, but how many people actually truly have the coronavirus?
I heard something. Right? I read something about that when Kevin Durant, I don't know if he really actually did have it, but someone was stating something about there's been a lot of false positives. But like I've said, man, we
have to think about that.
No, for sure. That's a huge component of this.
But these guys are like opening my mind to this kind of stuff,
Right.
And then they're talking about like other things like, it's going into nursing homes, and these like people that were, on their way out anyway, but you don't want to be morbid like that. But sometimes I guess there was a soccer player, and if you guys saw him, he died of the coronavirus. He was like 21 or 27 or something like that. It was like front page news in another country. And but they forgot to mention that he was late stage leukemia.
Right. Almost all of these deaths have underlying conditions.
That's another one for corona.
Yeah.
Saying it's the fear mongering. This 27-year-old dies of corona.
That's exactly right.
Oh my God.
And
but
so now with Trump just putting into action basically free tests, and like we've talked about, people are walking around with it and spreading it, and some aren't spreading it. But with more tests, clearly we're going to see more positives, and I think that is going to exacerbate the fear even more. The people who've been like, So I think we need to be prepared for that. And a lot of people, what I'm hearing, the next 2 or 3 weeks, 4 weeks, month and a half is going to be, very tough, man. It's going to be very tough for a lot of people.
I want to finish this point,
pointed out.
Go for it, Tim.
Okay.
Yeah, because there's the other camp, the other people that I've talked to that are the same thing, 90% positive and stuff like that. And some of them are saying that by July we could have 2.1 million Americans with corona, right? So now I'm like, whoa. And they have good arguments too, right? So I'm just like, I don't know. And nobody really does. We don't have first-person experience with this thing. So what I looked at, I told this in my private group coaching on Wednesday, was like, what I hope people do is they take this as a personal 9/11, Okay. And you saw what happened in 9/11, how everybody comes together and there's effort and energy and teamwork and synchronicity, and people start loving each other, and we drop all the bullshit and drop all the racism that's propagated by the media and all that stuff. And we're just freaking Americans or human beings just trying to get through our day, raise family, raise kids, have a wonderful life. Why do we have to deal with all this crap, right? So anyway, I think pretend that you just got cancer. That's what this is about. And my clients, unfortunately, most of these people, they don't do anything until they get stage 4 something, and then it's like, the record player stops, and they're like, oh shit, I got to do something. And I'm trying to tell people why wait. When you see 50% of us dying of heart disease in this country, and 50% of us dropping dead of cancer, and we've got COPD and diabetes, and 80% of us are overweight or obese, we are ticking time bombs waiting for something like this just to come and get us. And if you're weak, these viruses are going to take you out. It's called evolution. So how do you beat them? Strong mind and a strong body and taking care of yourself. So I hope that wakes people up so they can frickin' love themselves enough to start caring for the human body. Treat it like your car. Take care of it. Maintenance it. Clean it up. Put some good fuel in it. Get some sleep. Drink some water, and wash your hands. And then that's it. Live a healthy life.
And don't touch your face. Don't touch your face.
Something you brought. Something you. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Wes Gillum. I'm just going to read some comments now and then, so I apologize for interrupting. Wes Gillum, reminds us that 99% of Italy's deaths were folks with pre-existing conditions, which is true. Thank you for the reminder, Wes. I appreciate that. So, look, the flu takes out on average 500,000 people a year. So I'm just curious, not to go political on this. It's not political, but it is the financial world and the financial sector taking a massive hit because of, nobody's working hardly. The food, it's nuts. The supply chain, all the people up from the hotels, the restaurants, the bars, all the people that supply them, all those people are not going to be working, and it just continues to expand. The automakers, everything else. The stress on people, like you talked about, Tim, is going to be immense. People are going to be trying to figure out how to pay their bills, take care of their kids. Everybody's cooped up in a house. The stress levels are going to go through the roof. This is going to put a lot of stress on a lot of people, not just financially, but mentally, physically.
And that's why I think it's going to differ.
People need to stay active. People need to stay active. They need to get workouts in. I don't care if you're at home and doing push-ups, wall sits, and crunches, and whatever you got to do. Go for a run outside. But
get outside.
Everybody's going to have to start picking it up.
Get that sunshine.
And something I've always said, man, like you're right, man. A lot of times natural disasters, et cetera, usually bring us together. I think, and I could be wrong, I'm seeing a hesitancy in that respect compared to a 9/11. Compared to 9/11, we rallied as Americans against this existential threat, kind of East versus West. In this standpoint, it's literally individual life and death, like happening now. You know what I mean? That maybe the Muslims might come and blow us up again one day, but now we're dealing with we could easily immediately die. That's why I think we're looking at it more. We're individually looking at our bare necessities and fuck my neighbor. You know what I mean? A lot of people are helping their neighbors out for sure, and we need to see more of that. But I think when it comes down to that base survival mode that we're all about to jump in, I think it's going to change a little bit how some people look at their kind of community, et cetera. It's going to become more self-centered.
Unfortunately, this is the type of national emergency that causes people to start thinking, I'm going to get mine, bro. I'm going to get mine. Look at the toilet paper situation, getting cleaned out, all the hoarders of toilet paper, where I go to the store just thinking this can't be that big of a deal, and there's no toilet paper.
And another reason, not to go too crazy on the rabbit hole, it's what I'm hearing today, and we talked about it, Pat, earlier, certain states and certain cities are releasing criminals to quote-unquote free up spaces and not spread the viruses. Certain large cities, police forces are going to not arrest criminals for certain activity.
They're not even showing up for calls for certain criminal activity.
If you haven't seen the movie The Purge, if you want to know about predictive fucking programming, dude, that's what we're about. I almost have to say that's what we're looking at here. That is what we are looking at here.
They should be like, look, we're going to arrest more people, so that would deter them from wanting to do something bad.
But now it's like, a lot of them probably believe I'm not catching the fear of catching something or the next level labor. I mean, it's chaos in the country on a good day. The next level of chaos we're seeing when you start talking about these almost apocalyptic scenarios. Like Pat said, and it's such a fucking amazing point. That's why I keep saying it. Look at what's happening in grocery stores and shit today everywhere, and everybody's bellies are full. Their cell phones are paid. Wait till this churns here in just a little bit. It's not going to be pretty.
Yeah, it's so bad that my friend went to the DMV, and she was the only one there. What's the chances of that ever happening?
And the people behind the desk were nice.
DMV?
No line at the DMV.
Jeff Pickett said, "Thank God I got my adult diapers because we couldn't find." That's what I was joking around earlier, where I took a picture of a big package of adult Depends. There's a picture of a lady, a full-figured lady on there with her Depends on, and I was going to buy those for the kids and for my wife just to.
I have a question for Jeff Pickett since he's listening, related to Pat's donut story. Jeff, don't you work in the lunch section, pizza, and the donuts are 100 yards away? So you would have to make a very concerted effort.
All over the place.
You would have to make a concerted effort to walk to the donuts,
now.
And they're not going to blame it on Jeff. Listen to this.
Oh, I blame it all on myself. I take responsibility for everything I've done. Every screw
Listen,
up I've
sir.
ever had,
Listen,
man.
I just came from Quick Trip. This is in the bag, a chocolate-covered donut. I'm not hating, bro.
Good work. Good work.
Those munchies will set in here in a couple hours.
Just
Hey,
need an
donuts
extra
aren't on the
glass of
program.
greens.
No, I know. It's all love.
Yeah. So, as far as the national emergency and everything else, I mean, the stock market's hovering around 20,000. It's dropped 9,000.
Still good.
Well, I mean,
Still
again,
good.
another layer
That's
of
a third of it.
Yeah.
Evaporated.
But I mean, think about where it was. You know what I'm saying?
But tell that to the old person who has, and that's not even political, but Trump has made a lot of people a lot of money with their retirement funds, and it's gone. It's gone for a lot of them.
Yeah.
So I mean,
if they pull out, right? That's the problem.
That's what she said. But no, I think
the only thing that scares people is if they're already in retirement mode and they're pulling their money out and it's not growing anymore. That's a concern because they could run out of money.
Well, plus your
faster.
capital gains tax. What are your capital gains tax? 20-30%? I mean, I'm not sure, but that's why a lot of people don't sell because the capital gains. But again, the level that it's all firing on, I'm like, and I hate to sound so terrible about it, but it is. I mean, how is this not? When I say the end, of course it's not the end. We will, civilizations have risen and fallen many times. How is this not a huge blow / reset? Like Pat just said, all the different people that are out of work now, the retirement that's been cleaned out. I mean, just they're literally hyperinflating our economy, just pumping out dollars, which is just going to remove any value to the dollar. Great, you gave me $1,000. Great, I can't buy anything, and I can't go anywhere to buy it.
Can I share something?
As long as they're still selling guns when they give me that $1,000 check.
No, I'm going to spend it on season tickets for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because Tom Brady's now a Buccaneer.
So
Tom
Kathy
Brady
O'Brien said, "I feel sick." One of our listeners, Kathy O'Brien, said, "I feel sick. What meds should I take?" Go back through everything that you were just talking about, Tim, earlier.
Really quick, if somebody did, like if I personally got the COVID virus or any bad virus like that, this is something you can do if you can get into it. You can get high-dose vitamin C IVs, and if you want to learn more about it, a great place to go to is dryourself.com. And that guy's legit, dryourself.com. They have all kinds of articles now. But this guy has been high-dose vitamins forever, like forever. I'll give you an example. Like he talks about one time when there's this lady and she's like really like in the corner, curled up. She's a mom with kids and a husband, and she'd just be in the corner, all anxiety and freaked out. They put her on like 10 or 20,000 milligrams of niacin, and all of a sudden she's back to normal, cooking, taking care of stuff, working, doing her thing. And then the doctor said, "Oh my God, well, I don't think you should do that." So took her off the niacin. She's back in the corner, right? So high forms of certain vitamins are really good for you. Vitamin C IVs, direct upload. You can also do if you can find a doctor that'll do it, because I don't think they're actually able to, so you're gonna have to find someone that's willing to maybe put their license online, but they can do the colloidal silver. I just don't think the pharmaceutical grade places are doing it, but I would do colloidal silver from a company called Sovereign Silver. I just buy it. If you've got a doctor or a nurse that could IV that into you, that could be good. And again, I'm not a doctor, I'm not making any claims. Do all your own research. Another thing that could work too is ozone IVs. That could be really good. So there's IVs that are really important that people could do. Vitamin C. And
they can order Can they order chlorine dioxide off your website?
No, they'd have to go. I tell people to get that from Genesis 2 Church.
Yeah. Who we've had on the show.
2 Church.
We've had those guys on.
But then the other stuff is the colloidal silver. It's Sovereign Silver and it's Argentin 23 are the two brands that I recommend. Those are two good companies.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, so that was something. And this is like you were saying, Jeffrey. It's like the apocalypse, and I don't want to be a fear monger, but look what's going on and what's going to happen when people start run out of money and certain things. Well, what I'd like to do is like take a look at this. What I've learned that's worked well for me is that everything in life is completely meaningless. Completely meaningless. And I tell people that, they're like, "Oh, this guy's crazy." That's not true. It's only the meaning that you give it, which means you have a choice in how you look at everything. Sorry. Now think about it. 74% of people in this country do not like their career. They only go there for a paycheck. So maybe this is a wake-up call for them to maybe start their own business, or maybe go start being a musician, or maybe they want to go work at a different company, or go do something like me. I went from a financial advisor to a health coach and supplement company. I mean, that's kind of a weird, who does that type of stuff. So making a radical shift and following your highest excitement in life, look at this as a benefit. Maybe if you can't work right now and you're laid off, maybe you should just start working on yourself. Do your, what's really important to you? Write it down. Like make some vision boards like this. Like, oh, it's going to fall down. Like make yourself a vision board and how you're going to reinvent yourself. What you can do. See what I have on there? I have on there podcast. And guess what? Now I've got a podcast.
Shout it out. Where is it? Where can we find it?
It's the Health Hero Show.
I know, but not everybody knows it, bro. Calm down.
iTunes
real self-promoter over here. Getting mad.
I did a vision board for the first time New Year's Eve. I stayed home and I was sitting home by myself on New Year's Eve, and I did a vision board. Yeah,
they work. All my vision boards, like everything, just like 80% of it's already happened. It's awesome. Maybe you should take 4 weeks off and just go hiking, travel around, do something, get out in nature, go stick your feet in the grass, just explore, be a kid again, and start finding out what you're really passionate about. This is a time to sit back and reflect and renew yourself and build up your immune system and just take a really good look at your life. Is this where you want to be? If not, this is a great opportunity to step back and to start making some difference. And we
use the term a lot, and a lot of people use it, the economic reset, but it could be a huge reset on a bunch of different levels, like you're saying. But unfortunately, you know what I mean, not a lot of people, that's a part of people's stress. I can't just go out in the mountains and walk in the grass because I got fucking my landlord's going to kick me. I mean, I know they suspended evictions or whatever, but there's just bills to pay. I have kids or whatever. So, I mean, that's why I kind of wanted to address practical things people could do to stay healthy. I mean, I see a lot of guys, David Goggins, et cetera, when they're, or Jocko Willink or whatever, they're on the road a lot. They're in hotel rooms, but they still get it in. I mean, there's really no excuse for not being able to get it in, even with just the simplest of workouts. So that was kind of my thing.
It's hard. It's hard.
Yeah.
I mean, I travel a lot, and you're tired. You are tired, but you got to force yourself. I've even done workouts in my hotel room when there's not a sufficient, workout facility or whatever in a hotel we might be staying in, or it's I've seen them to where they're closed, whatever. But yeah, you got to do it. You got to get a workout in. You got to do what you got to do.
Yep.
And it's important to, like, right away when you get off a plane, do your best, go straight to the workout facility in your hotel, or go for a run. Like Ron Crook, my broadcast partner, he likes to run outside wherever we're at. He'll run around downtown Dallas or whatever city we're in. And I don't want to stop at every crosswalk. It just pisses me off. So I'll jump on a treadmill and do an incline workout, or do, stuff. I have a bit of attention deficit disorder when it comes to workouts. I'm surprised that I was able to do any long runs with my friends, John Byrne and O'Brien and Rick and all those guys. But I like to break it up. I'll do 10 burpees and a quarter mile or half mile run and do that 10 times or whatever.
Which is just crazy, because before you and I linked up, Pat, remember DJ's Body Shop, and I think I've told the story before. I used to go in there, say 5 o'clock. Hey, there's Pat Miletich on the bike. I leave at 6:10, 6:05. There's Pat Miletich still on the bike. Literally, like, still killing it,
Well,
dude.
yeah, when I was, I used to, that's the cool thing is I used to, there was certain bikes at the Bettner Fitness Center that had, you could race the computer. So it would have a guy on a bike and you on a bike on the
cool.
screen racing. And obviously it wasn't accurate, but I would set that guy at 40 miles an hour for an hour. And so I would make it my goal to beat that guy. So I had to go just above 40 miles an hour for an hour straight. So, dude, I was turning those pedals over like a madman on those computer bikes, and just Lake Michigan underneath me. But it worked. It got me in great shape.
Yeah, cardio, baby. You don't want to be in the 5th round gassed, or even 3rd round. Jesus. Well, dude, I'm glad we were able to.
We got harassed enough, Billy Chrisman, last night on our podcast about my glasses. These glasses work just fine, even though they don't look up to your standards. They work fine.
Yeah, there's not so much a very high premium on presentation with Mr. Miletich as he. Yeah, looks like he's walking around like he's about to get his lunch money stolen again. Let's get some questions,
I can
man.
fit in with anybody. You can put me in the deep south in Mississippi. I can fit in. I used to be able to take out my 2 front teeth. I could really fit in then.
Oh, snaps.
Or throw me in a 3-piece suit and I'll fit in and mind my manners at dinner with some business folks. I can figure it out. I'm a chameleon, man. I'm a chameleon.
Like Dusty
Hey,
Rose.
let me do a shout out, guys. We got a comment from Danny Fewer. He originally found me on the Conspiracy Farm. He said, "Man, what a time to be alive. People need to wake the F up." Shout out to you, Tim, and the Conspiracy Farm. Thanks for the good info. Thanks, Danny.
Appreciate it,
listening, brother.
Heck yeah, man. I appreciate that. It's always weird, and again, whatever. It's always weird when I sit in front of this microphone from when we started to now, and just get messages from Ojo, Nigeria, or Bosnia, or Australia. It's like, what? How did you hear about it? I mean, I just don't quite get the ripple effect of this show. And it's all from all of our listeners, obviously, from supporting it, Pat and I, for hopefully, putting together a nice presentation that people want to listen to. But it just doesn't quite resonate sometimes. Like, why are you emailing me from the other part of the, like, how do you know who I am? Like, I just think only St. Louis should hear me. I don't know. It's weird. But I appreciate every single listener, everybody who supports the show. TheConspiracyFarm.com, support the show, support the sponsors. ChemicalFreeBody.com/farmer, promo code farmer. And that's not just to pump that shit out. I mean, it's nice to support Tim and what he does, but these sponsors we have, the ChemicalFreeBody.com/farmer, My Patriot Supply, any of those are conducive to what's going on right now. ButcherBox.com/farmer. You want your freezer full with the best food. You want the best stuff put in your body. Organic food, or grass-fed beef, organic chicken, heritage pork, etc. Because right now we're working from home, so any support you guys can give is amazingly appreciated. And it's obviously going to help you too, man. This is a symbiotic relationship. We can't do this without you guys. So, well, obviously you'll be fine without us. But
yeah, how many people have watched your show now? It's in the
Couple
millions.
million.
yeah, we're looking in the millions now. Yeah, at SoundCloud we're looking at about 2.3 million. That's just one platform. So it's been awesome. It's been cool. I absolutely enjoyed doing it.
And we've never advertised ever. Never
Yeah.
paid social media advertising, never once.
I paid to
It's all
boost
been
a couple
grassroots.
of Facebook, a couple like that in that respect, but nothing like no major advertising or marketing budget. And the thing, when we first
get
started
no
this,
CIA backing.
no,
We get no CIA
contrary to
backing.
popular belief, we're not run
And
by the
speaking of
Jesuits.
CIA backing, Jeffrey. Speaking of CIA backing,
Yeah.
make sure that this gets out there. Eddie Bravo was having a conversation with Joe Rogan on his show, and Joe Rogan suggested, or basically told his listeners, that I'm a big believer in Q,
Oh yeah, I told you
which
that.
is not true. I do follow Q,
Yeah.
and I do pay attention to what Q is saying and what Q was right about and what Q was not right about. But I am not a bow down believe in Q 100%, because he has, whoever it is, has been wrong several times. And
Well, the
but,
point is,
things like
larger point is Joe's listening.
point-
Joe's listening.
the point. Well, the main thing is this. You got to get your news from a lot of different sources, and you got to have discernment and be able to figure out and have enough common sense to say, That guy's full of shit, and that guy's pretty spot on. And these guys might be in the middle, and this guy might be getting paid off to bullshit, right? So, we don't have any CIA backing, as you can tell by our conversations, right? Now, if we suddenly change,
Yes.
if we suddenly change our tune and start talking a little bit differently, and I start driving a hell of a lot nicer truck, you might say I'm getting some CIA
If
money.
I come on, I'm like, you know what? I've been doing some reading, and damn it, that Lee Harvey Oswald fella, he done did it. He done did it. Up there with that shitty rifle, he did it. Case closed.
Yeah. Did the math on the speed, the wind, he dropped that in there.
He done
nicely.
did it. That one bullet.
And how did he ricochet a bullet off of the front of the car back into JFK's neck is what I want to know.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but yeah, no, 3 shots did all that damage, dude, and even hit a chunk of sidewalk and chipped a guy by the name of James Tagg. All 3 bullets did all that. So yeah, we're getting paid good now. We done flipped the script. Everybody's got a price, like Ted DiBiase says, right? Tim's like, what the fuck?
So anyway.
We try to have fun. Honestly, at this stage,
I'm
yeah,
just drinking green.
absolutely. At this point, it's it can't be all fire and brimstone because it's already driving me freaking nuts. But we definitely did want to get you on because, like, I just ordered 3 new greens myself. I mean, it's just we know a diet rich in whole fruits and vegetables is absolutely on point for optimal health. This, dude, I'm telling you, read the label, look at it. I mean, this is the be all end all.
Yeah,
you get a
the
scoop of this in the
ingredients on the
morning,
back.
and maybe one of the you have your whatever you want to call it, your RDA, your daily load of some of the most. It's a superfood, man. Minerals, vitamins, micronutrients, nutrients. It's all there, man. It's absolutely all there. I mean, it's been game changing for me, dude. Because Slugget. It changes just energy wise. A lot of things, man. Obviously, everybody's body's different, but when you get this stuff in your body, you'll feel it, dude. You will feel it.
Yeah. You know what a lot of people are telling me? They're just like, they know they need to get in more veggies and they're not doing it. Maybe this will help them do it. And then it does. A lot of people are just got great results juicing. Like me, I literally healed myself by juicing twice a day. And then 5.5 years, I never missed. Every day, twice a day. Because that was the protocol they taught us at the Hippocrates Health Institute. And they said, if you're leaving here and you're not doing 2 green juices a day, do not expect the same results. You're not doing the Hippocrates Protocol. So I was like, okay, I'm doing this. My buddy's got cancer. Dude, you're doing this. We came home. We did it. He heals himself of cancer in 2.5 years. It was chronic lymphocytic leukemia. And I healed myself up within 8 months, all my health issues, my skin issues, my gut, the blood coming out, my stools all gone. And it's been 10 years, and I've been able to maintain it and consistently get healthier every single year. How would you like that? How would you like to, instead of living in fear and living in worry, be heart attack proof, be cancer proof, because you've learned how the body works and you've cleaned it up and you've nourished it on a daily basis. And why do you do it? Because you loved yourself. That's what it really boils down to.
The choice,
and
man.
Let the greens do their work. I can't tell you how many people that are just like, I love coffee and all this stuff. I don't say anything to them. I'm just like, do this first before your coffee. The first thing that goes in your body is either purified water or these greens, and then go have your coffee and go eat whatever you want. But you just get this in. Put a stake in the ground and say, from now on, I'm doing this every morning and I'm doing it every night, and build off of that. People's taste buds change, their energy improves, their mental clarity improves, their gastrointestinal tract, there's less bloating, less cramping. And then, they get their energy back, and then they start wanting to do more good stuff for themselves, and it self-perpetuates into getting them to, wanting to exercise and work out and move their body and sweat, and then they start sleeping better, and then everything just tumbles into position for them. So,
well, and piggybacking on what you were saying about stress, and everybody's stress levels are so crazy, and cortisol is through the roof. Not just as green 85 absolutely great for all the reasons we've mentioned, but your gut health, man. As our mood is and our energy is kind of in the toilet because the stress levels. Your gut health. Get some of the stuff that Tim has with gut health. There's more serotonin produced in the gut than in the brain. So as our moods are shifting and not exactly as high as we would like them to be, health is wealth, man. Let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food. Be hard to kill, like my man Pat Milcher said. Guys. And just take care of yourself, dude. Seriously, make yourself worth it, make your kids worth it, and just take care of yourself.
Yeah, and I would say this, Tim, when you posted the picture of yourself roughly 10 years ago, you were a chunky bastard.
He was.
You were one fat bastard.
He wasn't missing any meals over there.
No, I remember my wife at the time. She's like, "Where's that picture of us by the pool?" And I was like, "Why?" And she's like, "Well, I'm gonna put it on my Facebook." I'm like, "If you put that on Facebook, we're getting divorced."
And we got a divorce.
Put it on Facebook. She obviously put it on Facebook because you got divorced.
Yeah, it did. But no, it's funny because I was literally, because my self-image was, I'm an athlete, I'm a top baseball player. I'm like and then I looked at it and I was like, shit, I'm fat. And then it was like the world, like reality hit me. I'm like, God. And then I didn't feel so good about myself. Besides, on top of it, just physically not feeling good, then emotionally I started getting down on myself. So it was not a, I was a pretty happy-go-lucky guy, but deep down, I was pretty unhappy, because I wasn't who I thought I was.
And poor health will do that to you.
I still thought I was.
Yeah. It's amazing the things that we convince ourselves of sometime when we know it's not necessarily true, but diet and health is one of them. Go ahead.
Yeah,
I cringed to think about not living this lifestyle this way, to where I was being uneducated, in the matrix, completely oblivious, following what mainstream and everybody tells me to do, and being a lemming, just jumping into the sea and killing myself slowly. As far as I can, and then that's it.
You can't know what you don't know, man. That's the beautiful thing about human beings evolving consciously, etc. It's like, what I mean? You look at yourself, not to even really get into it, but I look at where I was like 5 or 6 years ago when my mind wasn't quite right, and just the things how have changed because I changed my mindset. It's a beautiful thing.
Right.
Once you flip that switch,
Camper.
Camper.
Sorry, Bill Camper's asking, the Atkins diet, is that bad? And so, Tim, you go ahead and run with the Atkins diet.
I can't believe people are still talking about it, actually. So, Mr. Atkins died of a heart disease.
Hold on, Bill, just so you know.
What? I didn't know that.
Camper,
I did not know that.
He did die. Yeah, he
of
did
heart
die.
disease? That's insane.
Bill Camper's politics are as screwed up as his diet. We'll just say that.
Bill, I like
No,
Bill.
but here's the beauty. If Bill is looking at something to improve himself, then Bill's on the right track because he's starting to notice his self-importance. He's starting to take action.
There you go.
You might take action with the Atkins diet or the paleo diet, and you might get certain things from each one that's going to improve. And eventually, if you keep on that path and you find the right person, then you'll figure it out yourself.
Right.
Like I did. I just got blessed because I went to the Hippocrates Health Institute, and they've been doing this for 65 years, and they have a medical staff and nurses, and they have a 3-acre farm, and they're growing their own food. So I was able to get caught up. Like it was like within weeks, I was downloading 65 years of information, right?
Wow.
Whereas the Atkins diet was designed to sell stuff. And same thing with the paleo diet. The paleo diet was propagated and made by the Cattlemen's Ranchers Association to sell more meat. People don't know that. A lot of these diets are just, there's good parts of them. Like I know with paleo, people get off of dairy and sugar. Well, shit, if you get off of dairy and sugar, your health is going to improve, right?
Go in the right direction at least.
Yeah, and with keto, I see with keto, one thing that's really good about keto is the intermittent fasting component. Intermittent fasting is huge. In fact, one of the best things for viruses is just stop eating. Stop eating, do a 3-day water fast, and you will completely reset your immune system. So if I got it, I'd be doing water fasting, and I would be getting probably some type of an IV, and then just putting essential oils all over my body, taking MMS, taking peroxide baths, drinking my water. I'd just be like totally just liquids and colloidal silver up my nose. That's what I do. I just kill that bastard.
Every morning, peppermint, dude. A couple dabs of peppermint right in my shit, dude. It opens me right up.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
All natural.
So what about the carnivore diet? I know that Tim, you're vegan, so you're obviously not going to agree with.
Mostly, I can't even say that anymore because if I went over to your house and you went out and shot a deer and you smoked it yourself and you had a piece of pepperoni, you said, Tim, I really want to give this to you. And if I wanted it, I'd take a bite. But if I didn't want it, I'd pass. It just kind of depends on my mood now. But I probably eat 99% plants still. But for 8.5 years, I was 100% plant-based. Just in the last year and a half, it's just random. But I don't freak out about it.
You started something new. You're a mood vegan. All the different variations of vegan. You just started a new one.
TheMoodyVegan.com.
Well, I will say the Game Changers documentary that you and David Clark and several other plant-based diet folks I watch that with my family. My 15-year-old daughter is still vegetarian because of it. She'll eat eggs, but she is really plant-based, and so she's really stuck to it. I'm very proud of her for how she's done that.
I will say this is that there are a couple cases that I've seen. One personally, where I have first-person experience with a friend that went strictly to a meat diet. That they had severe complications in their health and their life, and I think it's just, and they went to, like, Jordan Peterson. He was one of them. His daughter, I don't know if you know that guy, but his daughter had some serious health issues, and she just started eating all meat, and it healed her. Like, she's doing fine now. That doesn't really that was like, but wait a minute, that goes against what I learned and I've experienced, and I've helped thousands of people by adding more plants into their life. It works. Okay, it freaking works. There's no question. Plants heal. Water's sacred. We should all be doing that. But it worked for them. And it worked for a close personal friend of mine that used veganism to plant-based to heal himself to a certain point, but then he had some other complications and some gout, stuff like that. And I think for him, when I say I went plant-based, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, neither do I.
It's not mine.
It's me. I don't know what it is.
But anyway,
there it is.
But but here's the deal: is like a very small percentage of people it's worked for. I've seen 2 people or 3 people that I've heard of that it's worked for. So when you say the carnivore diet, eating lots of meat, it probably will work for a small percentage of people, but for the vast majority of people, I'd say let's try the plants first and make sure you're doing it right, because you can become a vegan and still eat at McDonald's, and you're not going to improve your health. You've got to get micronutrients in living foods like sprouts to get the hormones, the oxygen, the phytochemicals, and the enzymes, and all these micronutrients. They're not even in like vegetables, because those were picked 2-3 weeks ago by the time you pick them up and take them from the store, and they lose a lot of the nutrition. And it probably wasn't in the soil anyway. So that's why we have people take Green 85 twice a day to replace what's missing in the soil. 85% of it's been farmed out, even if it's organic. So that's why
that's, like we were saying earlier, even if you do make the choice to start buying or eat plant-based, it's like you said, the nutrients are so stripped out. It's
And a good first step for people is if you want to still eat meat, then do it, but just eat clean meat. Try to find a local farmer that's growing it's grass-fed, and just buy the best you can.
It became kind of the rage, the trending on the carnivore diet over the last maybe month or two. I know Joe Rogan did flip to completely carnivore. Like he said, he was like shitting like crazy at first, but then he said he lost a bunch of weight. His energy's crazy. He's never felt better. So, I mean, everybody's whatever they call them, polymorphisms or whatever their deficit of as far as vitamins, et cetera. It's just different. Our bodies, like you said, metabolize shit differently. We're all just different. So,
yeah, and there's also an emotional component too, because I don't think emotionally a lot of people are ready to give up certain things. They're just not there. And if you're not emotionally saying like, yeah, this plant-based thing is going to work for me, then you're going to be fighting it energetically. Yeah. The reason why I think I worked so well for me is because I went to an institute and I went full immersion, and I saw myself and my friend just get amazing results, and all these people were healing themselves of cancer and fibromyalgia and all these crazy things, and Parkinson's and things that are Lou Gehrig's disease that are not supposed to, you can't heal those, and people, you can't do it. It's impossible. People working for the frickin' looking for the cure. I had a gal come to our Rotary Club and she's like, "There's no cure for Lou Gehrig's disease." And I'm like, "Yeah, there is." And she's like, "No, there's not." And I'm like, "Yes, there is." She's like, "No, there's not." I'm like, "Yes, there freaking is." She's like, "No, there's not." And I'm like, I said, "You're trying to raise money to find a cure. Why are you so negative about this?" I mean, I don't understand. Don't you think that isn't that what you're looking for? The whole purpose is to raise money, and you have somebody in front of you saying, and I'm fairly intelligent, I'm not stupid. And I'm like saying, yes, there is. I've seen it with my own eyes. Like, if people are early or moderate stage, not late stage, but early or moderate stage with like Parkinson's or Lou Gehrig's disease, it can be halted, and in a lot of cases reversed. Okay, I've seen it, and I had a local garbage truck driver with Parkinson's that I worked with, and he got off a lot of meds, and he was able to walk on his own again and help them move, and so he improved himself tremendously from where he was. Now, he would have had further progress, but he wouldn't give up sugar. He was a sugar addict, and he was a Miami Dolphins fan. So.
Doomed.
No, but he got to go to Miami. He actually went to the Hippocrates Health Institute with his wife. His wife became a Hippocrates Health educator. She was his caregiver, and he got to fulfill a lifelong dream to go down and watch the Dolphins play, which was pretty cool.
Nice. Very
Absolutely.
nice. Well, gentlemen, I think we've given people a lot of options to potentially stay healthy during this global pandemic, and even if it's not a global pandemic, just ways to stay healthy. Whether you're purchasing Green 85 or not, I mean, make the choice, man. Just know you're worth it. Like you said, especially if you got kids, you want to be around for your kids. Life is a good thing.
Yeah, totally.
Life is a good thing, and you don't want to be popping all these pills all the goddamn time, man.
One thing that people can do to eliminate stress and to deal with it is a toolbox. This is a tool you can put in your toolbox, is simply doing some breath work. Simply doing some breath work. Breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. Just take some deep breaths, hold it at the top and hold it at the bottom. Just take, 5 or 10 or 9, however you can do it, and just get in the practice of using your breath. It is one of the most powerful things that I teach people. It's free. It doesn't cost anything. It'll improve your digestion, your gut health, serotonin.
Yes.
It calms you down. It lowers your cortisol levels. Also, another thing you can do is you can stand up like this and stand like this, like in Superman pose, and that will 2 minutes, and it lowers cortisol and increases testosterone in 2 minutes, and it boosts your immune system like 15% or something like that. It's on a TED Talk, Harvard. Literally, this is a true study I'm talking about now. This gal was in there. You can look it up, like Superman pose or whatever.
Yeah.
Just 2 minutes standing in a power pose changes
totally
the physiology.
The George Reeves from the 50s show, dude. That was my shit.
Yeah. Yeah, so just drink some Green 85 or some water. And
who can change the course of mighty rivers, bend steel in his bare hands, and who, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter from a small metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth and justice in the American way.
Very good. You've got a lot of talents, my friend. A lot of
power pose, people. Do the power pose.
Well, Tim James, www.chemicalfreebody.com. If you want to pick up some products, go to, actually, you still can go, www.theconspiracyfarm.com. Click that Chemical Free Body link, promo code FARMER. It is no joke, ladies and gentlemen. These are the times that try men's souls, and you want to stay healthy, man. Stay healthy, stay strong, stay hard to kill, like my man Pat Miletich says. Pat, any closing comments, bro?
Get some Greens 85.
Do it.
Free body.
Gut cleanse too. Alpha dude. Get your alpha on. Stay alpha. Tim, any closing comments, brother? Shout out where we can find your show and all that good stuff.
Podcast.
Yeah, the podcast is the Health Hero Show, and it's on YouTube, iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, and
everywhere you can find podcasts, ladies and gentlemen. Everywhere you can find.
You can find it also on our website at chemicalfreebody.com. Click the podcast link, and they're there.
Sweet.
So we've had 3 episodes out, and Pat was on the 3rd one, and we've already got a bunch shot, and I'm lining up some pretty cool guests.
I guess I'm on the pay no mind list, but that's okay. Everyone do what you can to take care of yourself. Again, man, Tim, always a pleasure, dude. And honestly, we want to, because this isn't going anywhere anytime soon, so we definitely want to continue these conversations, get your perspective on what's going on, and continue to reiterating for new fans who might be listening down the road what they can do to stay healthy during a global pandemic and in just general life. Tim James, ladies and gentlemen, chemicalfreebody.com, theconspiracyfarm.com. It's been an absolute pleasure. Stay safe, you guys. Love you guys so much. And just keep your head on a swivel, man. Things are going to change here very drastically in a very short period of time. But this too shall pass, and we will get through it, man. Peace and all them kind of loves. Stay tuned. There will always be more.